Hey guys, welcome back. So today I just did like a get ready with me video. I didn't put on lashes or mascara. Haven't done that yet. Maybe later, but I'm not going out anywhere, and I was just like, well, maybe we could just leave it this way. It's just to get ready with me, and basically I talk about my pregnancy, my labor and delivery. So yeah, keep watching. So today I'm gonna do my makeup. Probably not gonna mess a shirt. Probably put on a black shirt. So yeah, let's see how this goes. So I'm just gonna prime real quick. I'm using the e.l.f. poreless primer, just the pump version. So let's see. What do I want to talk about today? I can talk about the time. I could talk about my pregnancy, honestly. For a while I didn't know I was pregnant. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So when I was pregnant, I actually didn't know I was pregnant, to be exact. For the first like 2 months ish, I was close to 3 months pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant. And I had no symptoms at all. So it was kind of weird because, I would go on roller coasters and everything. I didn't know. I didn't think I was pregnant. I didn't assume anything. So it was kind of strange for me when I found out I was actually pregnant. So it wasn't what I expected at all. So the palette I'm going to use to try to figure out what I'm going to do with these eyes, it's Blue Blood, because it's like one of my favorites. So let's see what we can do to these eyes. But yeah, I really didn't know I was pregnant. It was very unexpected. When I found out I was pregnant, I was already 2 months along when I had my first sonogram done. So what had happened was, the only reason I found out was I had gotten really sick. And I was extremely nauseous. And when I was nauseous, I had eaten Subway. So they have like a broccoli and cheese soup, and that is what I ate. And I kept blaming being sick on the soup. Mind you, it wasn't the soup. I had taken medicine or whatever to try to see if it would go away. It didn't. It kept going, so I would miss a lot of days of school. And then one day at work, some lady was like, "No, you're just pregnant." And I was like, "No, I can't be. I just have a really bad stomach ache." And then like my friend, since she worked with me, she was like, "Take a pregnancy test then." So I called my boyfriend and I was like, "Well, go get one, I guess. Just so that like we're for sure that it's a no." Even though like in my mind I was for sure. So we took about 6 pregnancy tests. They all came back positive, and I was like, no, there's something wrong with them. That's why they're coming out that way. They're wrong. They don't work. And then at like the 7th one, I was like, fine, I'm pregnant. So it was weird knowing that I was pregnant. Was not what I expected at all. Just thought I ate some bad soup. So telling my parents was a different story. I actually woke up one morning and I was still like really, really sick. And I told them, and then they were like, well, you gotta be sure. So I went to go get a sonogram done, and I took a pregnancy test that like my doctor's, and then she was like, yep, you're pregnant. And then I did a sonogram, and it was nice. My baby was really small. Of course, at that time they're really small, but I wasn't eating anything. I had been 2 months without taking prenatals. I wasn't eating food because I just couldn't withstand anything. So they gave me some prenatals and I was taking them, but I still couldn't withstand any food. So I went like that about, I want to say I was 3 months, and then I asked for nausea medication because I wasn't doing him any good. Because not eating was not okay. They had told me that if it came back, because it stopped for like maybe a week, and that was the week of like the appointment where they're like, well, if it comes back, come back, or like text us or something and tell us that you need them because you're not doing any well. I had lost, I want to say about like 20 pounds being pregnant during that time, and it just wasn't doing my baby any good. So I got that medication. I started taking it, but the thing was I would sleep all day. So at the same time I had to stop working. I would sleep all day, and I couldn't do anything. Even just going like maybe 5 minutes away, I would throw up. So being on the medication, I would sleep all day, and like I would still feel nauseous, but I wouldn't throw up. So during my pregnancy, like I would tell my boyfriend, you know, I can't do it. Every time I would throw up, just because it would get to me, because I just hated throwing up. Like in general, I just always hate throwing up. And being nauseous and not being able to eat anything. So like I would tell him I can't do it anymore. Like it's not going well and everything. And like I would get really sad because, you know, you want to make sure that they're getting what they need as like when they're growing and stuff. And it's a scary process to not know if they're doing okay, if they're fine, if everything's okay. And like the fact that you're not eating and that you're losing weight when everyone's like, you need to eat, you need to gain weight, and it's like you can't. You're just like, I'm not hungry, I don't want anything, because all I do is throw it up. They're not getting anything, and I'm just losing more weight, and it's not my fault, you know. So it was a hard time for me to like understand that it's okay to be nauseous. But I was like that for about 6 months of my pregnancy, and I mean like 6 months that I knew I was pregnant. So it was a very, very tough time for me to know that I was really sick, to know that like, what if it's not going well, and things like that. And it was just hard. And like, I guess as a teenager you don't understand why, but you never know. So fast forward to like the time of my baby showers and everything. Like I was fine by then, but I would still like worry. You know, at that time I had already gone off the pills of nausea, because I was like, well, I shouldn't be taking them too much, because what if it affects him and everything. So I stopped taking them, and luckily I had like settled down at that time. And by that time I already knew he was gonna be a boy. That was a very amazing time that I found out he was gonna be a boy. I think we're all anxious to find out what the gender was. And I'm glad he ended up being a boy. He loves me very, very much. He is very much a mommy's boy in every way possible. So I'm glad about that. But my baby showers were all good. It was a very nice time. My mom did like everything for one of my baby showers. The other one my boyfriend's mom did, and the other, like the last one, my mom's family did. It was just really nice in general. To have 3 baby showers was not what I expected to have. It was way more than what I thought I would have, and I'm very grateful for that. Because, you know, sometimes some people aren't that privileged to have that many baby showers and like be able to go to all of them and everything. So yeah. So let's see what else. My delivery was a different story. So like the day I was gonna give birth, I had gotten like contractions all day, and I was like, well, not necessarily all day. I had them for like a good bit, and I finally decided to go to the hospital. But before I went, I had actually gone shopping, and I don't know why we decided to go shopping, but we did. And when I went shopping and everything, I was like, I'm okay, I'm fine. But I had gotten strong contractions by then. And then after everything, we came home because I was done. Like, I couldn't walk that much. And then when we got home, I was like, well, I'm gonna shower, maybe I'll go to the hospital. But turns out I didn't even go to the hospital then. I went much later in the night. So yeah. So the day I ended up giving birth, basically I went into the hospital. Like, you know, they did like the normal. They checked up on me, they asked me when my due date was and everything, and I had told them, and I was only a couple days from when I was gonna be induced if I didn't have him. So I went in and everything. They're like, well, you're only 5 centimeters, which isn't enough, but it looks like your water's gonna break sometime soon. So they admitted me into the hospital, and I'm not even lying, not even an hour after I got admitted, my water broke on its own. And just to be hilarious right now, like, I'm being dead serious right now, like, this is the funniest thing. I was watching Gordon Ramsay. So some words of him were said, you know, how he is. And when he said those words, my water broke. My water just went. And I was like, it was maybe like 12 at that time. And then my mom, take in mind, my mom is laying on the couch asleep. My boyfriend is laying on the floor asleep. And I was like, I think my water broke. Underline, I think. So they both are like, oh my god, you need to call the nurse in and everything, and you need to tell her. So they get up, they throw the pillow that's on the couch my boyfriend was sleeping on, so they throw it on the couch. They pretend like they've been awake the entire time. And the nurse came in, and I'm very thankful for the nurse that I had, because she helped me so much. I had a natural birth also, but the nurse came in and she was like, yeah, your water broke. And then I was like, great. And she told me that you know, contractions are gonna start getting more severe, more painful, And at that point I couldn't have an epidural, which was good because I had told her, like, when I had gotten admitted, that I didn't want one, that it wasn't for me. I've heard of people who get more pain with it, who can't feel like they're pushing, and my point was to feel like I was pushing my son out, because I didn't want to not feel it and not know, and then get frustrated and start to break down and cry. So that was my decision. Everyone's decision is different. You can always do whatever you think is best for you. So after that, contractions got worse. And like, to help, I was chewing ice. Maybe I'll have a video of like what actually happened during my labor and like give more in detail what actually helped me. So I would chew ice just to help me kind of like distract me from the pain. The only time that I would feel contractions really is when they would tell me, oh, you're getting a big contraction, and they would start looking at it and everything, and I'd be like, oh, and that's when I would feel it. But if I remember exactly, I knocked out for like a good bit before I actually ended up delivering my son. So I was asleep for a good bit, which isn't bad, but I think that helped me. I pushed for about 4 hours of my labor, because my son's head was facing upwards and they didn't want that. They wanted his head to face downwards. So I ended up pushing, which I'm guessing is a new technique, because my mom was like, I've never seen that. I'm taking my mom is a nurse. She was like, I've never seen that type of like anything like that done before, but she liked the technique. So I then like kind of ended up giving up. I started crying and I was like, I just can't do it. So they put me on oxygen, and I was okay with that. Like, I didn't have a problem with it. You know, whatever would help me. And then they brought a mirror and they were like, well, he's already there, just look and see for yourself. He's already almost there. You're ready. Like, doctor's gonna come in, just a couple more pushes. And I was like, okay. And take in mind, I did this without an epidural. Did it all on my own is what we like to say. Because I wanted to experience it that way. And I was like, okay. And then I started pushing, and then the doctor came in. Take in mind, I was watching Judge Judy at this time. Was it really Judge Judy? No, I'm pretty sure it was Murray. You are not the father. I remember that part, and then they muted the TV for me. But I was watching TV while delivering my son, and he was born. He was 8 pounds 4 ounces. And that's a lot for me. I'm a really tiny person. So for him to be born that big was like an accomplishment. Even the doctors were like, how did you do it? Because I'm very young. I'm a teenager. I had an 8 pound 4 ounce baby without an epidural. And I did it like it was nothing. And I didn't ask for any like medication or anything like throughout my labor to help. I really didn't ask for anything. So they did all that. After delivery, they make you use the restroom. I think it was like 2 hours after delivery. I passed out then. My nurse didn't get to really hold my baby or anything. So I had told her, like, you know, after skin to skin, you can come and hold him. So her shift had ended, and she was telling me that her shift ended and that she would come and find me when her shift, like, for the next day was up, and that she would carry him then. And I said, well, that's fine, you know. So she came the next day, actually. or was it, no, it was the same day that night. She had came back, and then she actually looked for me in my recovery room. She actually found my recovery room and actually came to carry my baby. Best nurse ever. Honestly, like, I don't think I could do it if I had another nurse, but she was amazing. I also liked my recovery nurse, I only liked one of my recovery nurses. And she was a really nice Hispanic lady because my son had, how do you say it on cheap? That's in English. Like a little rash to like the Johnson's, the pink bottle. So she brought me the white bottle, which is like the sensitive newborn one. He didn't have a rash to it, and she would check up on us a lot. And like that night, Isma was really fussy. My son's name is not Isma. That's just his nickname. His name's Ismael. But he was so fussy, and like I was determined not to have them take him to like another room or anything. I wanted him to stay with me. So like after all that, she would come in, she would check up on us, and she would help us because like we're new parents. We don't know what we're doing, really. Not like actually don't know what we're doing, but like I was too tired. I had just delivered and everything, and I was in a lot of pain, so all I wanted to do was sleep. So I slept most of the time, and my boyfriend was very, very scared. He was like, oh my god, he's not breathing for all you know. Like, he's in the box all by himself. What are we gonna do? And he would like literally pick him up while I was asleep, carry him, and then I would wake up and I'd be like, what are you doing with him? Why isn't he in the box? He's gonna get like used to us carrying him. And then he was like, well, I didn't know if he was breathing. And I was like, really? Okay. But I just like, I think the most difficult part was the after part. Like when you're trying to recover, I did have like a lot of breakdowns, I want to say. Like, not mental breakdowns, but like I would get really emotional. One, because I couldn't feed him. I wasn't producing breast milk, and I don't know why. And when I did, I produced very little. So I got really sad because I couldn't do that. And then like when you come back from the hospital, my mom really tried to help me, and sometimes I wouldn't hear him cry because I was just that tired, and she would like take care of him, and it's like, well, that's my job, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm very thankful for the help. And now like I take care of him, I do everything for him, honestly. And my boyfriend, which is his dad, does help out a lot. He is my baby. He's adorable. So yeah, maybe one day I'll do like an in-depth video about my labor and delivery, because like I basically just like skimmed the top of it. There were a lot of complications just with me, not with him, but like with my health afterwards, and like a lot of things I had to go through. So maybe I'll do like an in-depth video about it. Maybe I'll do a day in the life of a teen mom, including my son. So yeah, thank you for watching. This is just like what I came up with. I'll probably put on lashes later, but for now this is just how it's gonna stay.